Hey guys, Gijoe here, and welcome back to my bunker here in Atlanta, Georgia. Today, I want to talk to you about young Grasshopper's Omaha and Utah decks that you see right here before you. I just received these over the weekend, and I think I thought at least I was the first person to order these, and then I found out that my good friend Big E up there in Wisconsin, he actually beat me by like 15 or 20 minutes according to the timestamp. But anyways, I think Big E and myself are probably among the first two people to have these cards, this card deck, and at least that's from Drive-Thru Cards. But I wanted to talk to you about this. Now, what you see on the left here is this is the original card deck. I think it may have been like the Alpha and the Delta deck, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe that's what he called his maps. But nevertheless, I purchased these off Young Grasshopper a good while ago, and these are the original cards I think that he had, and they go to complement his house rules, and of course his custom map, which they're sitting on right now, this custom G40 map here. But I wanted to show you both of these card decks, and I like both of these card decks for different reasons, but I just want to go through these a little bit. You're probably familiar with these. These are the original Grasshopper G40 card decks, and basically you get, there are two different decks. I can't remember, like I said, if he called these Alpha, Delta, or maybe he had changed the name to Omaha, Utah, but I'm not sure. Can't really recall now, but essentially what you get is you get one card deck that has all of the nation cards. It has like a setup card for every nation. So you get like the United States, you get the 1942 setup, you get the 1941 setup. I think that might be Oz's if I'm not mistaken. You get the 1940 setup, and then of course you get his stage cards for his tournament that he played in, so that each, like for instance, the United States, they get 15 minutes to do, and you can kind of flip over stage one. Once you turn over to stage two, you cannot go back to stage one, and you have your timing card, mobilization, stage three, all that kind of stuff. So you get all that for every country. You also get, like for the United States here, you get their the national objectives, as you can see, and I think if you have an asterisk in the lower right-hand corner, I think that's one of Grasshopper's house rules. So you see all the national objectives, and like I said, you have this for every single nation. So here's the Soviets, and I'm not going to go through every nations because I already have them kind of laid out across my table, my board here. But I wanted to show you that. So the deck that I really want to talk about today is this deck right here. This is the Young Grasshopper G40 Omaha deck, which consists of the victory objectives for both the Axis and the Allies, and the different research and development cards, or fortunes of war, as he calls them, and then of course a few other national objective cards. And then, of course, you get the cards here that pertain to the different nations, like I was just showing you. So if I flip through here to the United States, you can see the same national objectives, etc. So I just want to talk to you about these cards. Now, he posted this on his, I think on his Patreon page, so I'm not sure if everybody is aware of this or not, but you can get these cards at a website, www.onebookshelf.com, and then you click on a link that says Drive-Thru Cards, and I'll show you how to do that here in a second. But these cards are fantastic, and like the price of these is unreal. Just so you know, for the original deck that I paid here a while back and bought, these ran me around 80 bucks if I'm not mistaken, and I could be off by 10 or 15 bucks, but these, however, I essentially paid, well, let's look at, I think $3.57 per deck. So $3.57 plus $3.57. So if you round up, say $4 each. So you're talking $7 to $8 for both card decks, and then I had to pay shipping, which might have been $5 or $6 or maybe even less. So definitely, I think for less than $15 all in, I got his complete Omaha deck here and the Utah deck right here. So let's talk about a few of these cards here. Like I said, I like both of these decks for various reasons. Now, the original deck, the reason I like these is the cardstock is pretty thick, very nice and thick. And I also love the size, the way that they fit in the hand. They're smaller than a typical card deck that you would use for bridge or, you know, any type of card game or what have you. But I love the thickness and I love the size of this card deck. And being OCD that I am, they fit perfectly within the ghost boxes of his custom map, which would make sense because he essentially designed the cards to go with the map and vice versa. So these cards fit well in the hand, nice thick card stock, and they fit perfectly into his ghost boxes in his custom map. So so I love this card set. Now, the thing I like about this card set, if you notice, right off the bat, it is larger. So let's kind of take a look here. You can see the difference in size. This is more I think they call it a bridge. Yeah, bridge cards, and it's in premium stock is what they say on the packing slip. So you can see right off the bat that it is a larger card. And so, you know, it fits in your hand still well. It's not too big at all. As far as the ghost boxes are concerned, and this really doesn't matter. I mean, I'm a little OCD, but it is a little bit larger than the ghost box, as you can see. But I know a lot of people don't necessarily have this map, or perhaps they printed the map without the ghost boxes, or maybe they just want the cards because they want the national objectives on here and a good setup card, and so they don't want to have to flip through the rule book just to find national objectives and such. So as far as the difference, the thing I like about these cards over this is look at the brilliance. And let me find one that's the exact same nation, the United States, that way you can compare exact colors. So let's go to that. So here we have the 1942 setup. And here you have the, well, let's go to an objective card, national objective. So here's a national objective, and here is a similar national objective card. Of course, you can see the size difference, but the color on these is very, very vibrant. I mean, it totally pops. It's bright, totally grabs your attention. I'm looking on the camera now, and you can't really see a huge difference in the color, but looking in person, this does look a little muted here in general, but the colors are just vibrant. Now, the cardstock, this is a little bit thinner. This is more like about the thickness of maybe like an Uno card, if you've ever played that Uno game. I don't know if they have that up in Canada, but they definitely, it's kind of big here in the States, or at least it was. So it's about that card stock. So it's not too thin, but it's definitely not as thick as this. So I think I like the size of these better. However, I love the brilliance of these. And I know that young Grasshopper spent a lot of time resizing these and refitting these to fit the template that the Drive-Thru Cards website had, so that he could put these up. So I think a shout out needs to go definitely to not only young Grasshopper, but also to Matt Todd, who helped to get this thing up and going and formatted or what have you, so that it would fit the Drive-Thru Card site. So so that's kind of an idea of the difference in the cards. Now let me talk you through these cards a little bit so you can see what you're going to get when you get each deck, and then I will then show you how to get these, okay? So this is the Utah deck, okay? And it comes with, like I said, it comes with a great 1942 scenario. And what I like about this is he actually gives you two. So, you know, if you've got one guy playing Axis, one Allies, You can give one to each. You flip on the back, you've got the G40 1940 scenario. You've got the turn sequence for G40 and the unit profiles. And then you have another one to go to the other player. So again, if one is Axis, one Allies, you got unit profiles and turn sequence for each player. And then of course from there, you go into all the different national objectives for France, China, the Soviet Union, you know, the States. You get his breakthrough development chart number 1 and breakthrough development chart number 2. Again, lots more national objective cards. So again, the colors on these are absolutely brilliant, and I love them. In the what we're going to call the Omaha deck here, of course referring to the 2 beaches, or the American beaches, I should say, on D-Day, you get a couple things. Of course, he finishes out the national objectives for Britain and, you know, a few other countries here, nations. You get his Fortunes of War card. So you see, you know, like heavy bombers. Of course, you can see the other side here, top secret. You get all of these, all the different Fortunes of War, which are great. You get his victory token card explaining how you do the victory tokens in the Fortunes of War, if you want to play his house rules. Here's a Fortunes of War breakthrough chart. Okay, the breakthrough chart that we saw on the other deck, I think that's the out of box, if I'm not mistaken. Fortunes of War breakthrough chart. And then here are his victory objectives. You see the ones outlined in green and orange. These are the Allied victory objectives. Okay, and then the ones in black and red are the Axis victory objectives. And I won't go into his whole point system and how he does that. That's for a different day. And he's already spoken on that, I think, pretty well. But anyways, these cards are fantastic. Like I said, I mean, basically $3.50 per deck. So less than $8, you can be all in, as opposed to $80, smaller, thicker, not as bright. $8, bigger, but a lot brighter and a little bit thinner on the card stock. So let's talk about how to get these cards. So what you're going to do is you are going to go to this website here, which is onebookshelf.com. Okay. So when you do that, it brings you up. Let me get this out of the way here. Brings you up to this website, and I'm going to put the link into the description of this video so that you don't have to do what I did. But essentially, when you get onto the One Bookshelf, you know, you go to www.onebookshelf.com, and you're going to see all these different drive-through RPG, drive-through comics. You're going to click on drive-through cards, and then all you need to do is type in right here, Young Grasshopper G40, and see, yeah, Young Grasshopper G40 Utah, and it should, well, Young Grasshoppers, I guess I didn't spell right, but you'll type in this, Young Grasshoppers G40 Utah deck, and this will pop up, okay? And then here you can add to cart. You can see the price right here, premium bridge cards for $3.57. You simply add to your cart and then go check out, and you know, they'll charge you some type of shipping fee as well. And you see the card deck right down here, okay? And then again, if you want to do the Omaha deck, you'll do the same thing. You'll type in Young Grasshoppers G40 Omaha deck, and this will pop up. You can see once again the same price at $3.57, and you can add it to cart and go check out as well. But like I said, I will put the link in the description to where you can go straight to this actual card deck. But like I said, if you want to go about it yourself, you simply go to onebookshelf.com, click on drive-through cards, and then in the search window, you'll type in Young Grasshoppers G40 Omaha deck or Young Grasshoppers G40 Utah deck, okay? So hope this is beneficial. And once again, thanks for Grasshopper for providing fantastic customizations for our gaming And you know, the neat thing about this is, even if you aren't going to use young Grasshopper's house rules, and if you don't even have his map, I think these decks are worth it, if for no other reason, just to get the national objectives. Now, the way that the decks are separated, if you want the national objectives for every nation and all the national objectives, I think you are going to have to buy both, because as you can see, here are national objectives, but then there are a few other national objectives added. And actually I take that back. Looks like all the national objectives on the, is this the Omaha deck, I believe? Can't recall here. Yeah, on the Omaha deck. All the national objectives on the Omaha deck have this asterisk. So that means those are his house rules. So if you don't want to play with his house rules, then I think all you're going to need is the Utah deck. And the Utah deck will allow you to play and have all the national objectives that are out of box, along with the different scenarios, turn sequence, and of course the research and development breakthrough charts. Okay? Thanks, guys. Hope you enjoy, and we'll see you next time.